Yeah, so I'm very interested to see what he has to say too. How loud is this?
New trailer for the upcoming mobile game Ever
All right, we're fine.
Crisis. We saw that in the full presentation. We'll cover key elements of the Final Fantasy VII timeline, including events of the original game, plus new story elements penned by Nojima about the young hero Sephiroth. New trailer. Kadasi, the producer, said, "We're honored to bring Final Fantasy VII Rebirth to players around the world next year. In this installment of the thrilling tale, Cloud and his friends, both and new returning, will embark on an adventure so all players can enjoy this story, even with those without any familiarity to previous titles or original Final Fantasy VII. The entire team has worked fervently with love and adoration for the world of FF7 to deliver an unforgettable experience for new adventurers and longtime fans, reaching new heights of cinematic storytelling, immersive and fast-paced combat, and rich
playing Ever Crisis, yeah.
exploration across a vast world." We can't wait to share more details.
Because it's a mobile game, I'm probably not gonna play Ever Crisis, although I could, yeah.
Details later this year. Also, Rebirth is the second entry in the remake project, which retells the story of the iconic fantasy game, redefined RPG, yada yada. Around the dystopian city, Midgar seems to embark on a journey in pursuit of Sephiroth, the vengeful swordman from Cloud's past, who is thought to be dead. In the standalone adventure, players will explore an expansive world, all brought to life with the new graphical fidelity developed specifically to leverage the power of the PlayStation 5. As players unravel a gripping narrative rich with mysteries to uncover, they will also witness the personal journey of each party member and strengthen their bonds to work together and face off powerful enemies.
Cool.
Yeah, that sounds about right. That
awesome.
Sounds about as, basic and bare bones as you can kind of get. There is
I'm very excited about that.
Screenshots. Oh my god, they're in 1080p. Bruh. Bruh. I get it, it's early, but come on, bruh. 1080p screen.
Actually, that's exactly what I was complaining about when I first saw the trailer, this trailer, and the teaser. The teaser came, last year? That's exactly what I was complaining about. All the trailers and teasers are in 1080 for some reason. Like, nothing is ever in 4K. They were able to do it for Final Fantasy 16, even with the first trailer, I believe, for Final Fantasy 16, they did it in 4K. It's like, what the hell? Like, why is everything in 1080? Yeah, it is. I mean...
Screenshots. Oh,
I don't get it.
God, still looks.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with that either.
Still looks very nice. There's a whole bunch of clear signs here. The world and environment that they're setting up for, the overall open world, isn't really open world like, and that wouldn't surprise me because it does not need to be open world like, and we've been saying this several times. Open world doesn't make a lot of sense. Large zones, wide linear, quote unquote, is probably the way to go. And there's another game that's perfectly like that Simmons is fantastically obsessed with, and has been obsessed with a long time. A little couple of games called the Xenoblade series, and they're pretty similar to that. I don't expect them to go as big and expansive as Xenoblade, where you're gonna like dive into this ocean and swim across like all of it. But even Simmons agreed to a certain point. There's gonna
I agree with him.
A lot of similarity because he's like an expert.
It doesn't need to be like Elden Ring or anything.
Why they are the way they are. There's a lot of similarity here, which is good. And they're touting exploration. They're touting this as being a big element like that. So, it's a good sign. That is a cat, dog, man, bear, big pig, bird thing. That is a normal girl. Nothing bad will happen to her. That is a horrible, freakish mother, the likes of which you should never see. I was looking at some info, and people were trying to get some sweet deets off of the character health bars, because in some battle sequences, check this out, they start at relative lower health. Come across some screenshots.
Yeah, I noticed that.
At the beginning, the characters actually have like health in the hundreds. It's low, so it's obviously we're resetting. It's a different game. It's not the same carryover of abilities and stuff. I'd be very surprised. They might give you like an Easter egg or something for having your stuff carry over, but it's a new game, so the characters are like in their low thousands. And then people were trying to track down, in some fights, characters had like 5,000 HP, and it was like, oh shit. So how far into the game? That's like halfway through the game. But in like the next shot, which is this, obviously of the Genova fight, seemingly the one that you fight on the ship when you cross Union Harbor to Costa del Sol.
Hi, it's Will.
We got commercials that I probably should not show, but we can skip this ad.
This is likely here, though, right? People are like, yo, is that halfway through the game? And believe it or not, no. Like, and this sequence happens even after that, and they have lower health.
Wait, people were asking people were asking if this was halfway through the game? What? The ship Genova fight? No. Is that what he said? Who's asking that? This is still the beginning.
So it's just a debug thing. This isn't a barometer of how far into the game.
Yeah, who's asking that? I wonder. Actually, there was one thing I did notice. We were actually talking about this. We were actually talking about this when we first saw the trailer. We thought during that scene with Barrett and Red 13 fighting together against that rock boss, whatever the new boss, whatever the boss is called, we thought that was like at the Northern Crater because Barrett and Red 13 were just alone, and I thought it was at the Northern Crater because it was like, you know how when you have the black materia, you can either give it to Barrett or Red 13 for safekeeping. To keep it away from Sephiroth at the Northern Crater. And so I thought that's what that scene was. But then I noticed that HP and everything, and damage as well, were less than this. Were like half of this. So I actually changed my mind there. I actually think that they were not in the Northern Crater. They were actually at the cave between the Chocobo Farm and Fort Condor, or whatever it's called. I think it's called Mithril Mines or something like that. Yeah. So I mean, that's I wasn't really looking at HP at the time. I was just looking at the environment and everything else. Mithril Mines. Yeah, thank you. So yeah, that's my fault. So it looks like they actually added a boss in the Mithril Mines. And that's awesome. And before I said that also, because we thought it was the Northern Crater, that we thought that the game would go like as far as the Northern Crater, and you would be able to play all the events before that. But it looks like so far the latest place that they've shown is Cosmo Canyon. So we get to at least go Cosmo Canyon and play all the events before that. And that's all we know so far. At least that's all I know so far. I don't know if we know anything else. But they pretty much just showed like at least Disc 1 stuff, you know, beginning, maybe halfway Disc 1 stuff.
Are you? How far into the game is this representing based on your HP values of how close to, 9999 are we getting? It's actually not. We're close to Junyuan Harbor.
Looking forward to it.
Right? Getting up on the Rocky Hill shores. That's all the construction stuff. So sick.
Oh, go back,
menu.
Max.
Looks like Summons is down here. That's interesting. Summons is down here in the commands menu.
Yeah, I actually noticed that too. It looks like that's just decoration stuff, but I don't know if it's anything more. It's possible. Like, they didn't have this materia symbol on before.
I wonder how different that is before, but Aerith has her ward shift and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, everything else is the same, but it's just that materia symbol that's different. I mean, believe me, I know. I played the 7 Remake a lot.
She had before. Is ward shift new? Because it's like Tifa was bouncing off of this attack.
Yeah, ward shift is new.
Actually, her combination attack with Tifa? I don't know. My God, bro.
Exactly how I felt. Look at this. Look at Junon. Oh. Look. Oh. Because the quality of the video was so bad before, I mean, you couldn't really see all this, but this screenshot actually doesn't look too terrible. It does look so fucking epic. I mean, it totally reminds me of Midgar and how that looked when I first saw it. I mean, it just looks so great. Good lord. I can't wait to go from the world into Junon and doing the same thing for other places like Wutai and Cosmo Canyon and other places like that. Like all the places. I know. I mean, just look at the gun, just all the pipes. Even the pipes look amazing. Is that the air? Actually, is that the airship up there? I think it is. Oh man, I can't wait to go in Junon as well. Ugh.
The scale, though.
Exactly.
I think that's what I'm getting out of some of these images is the scale of Midgar was wonderful, right? It was just
exactly
absolutely beautiful. How
you always think of Sephiroth's fight with Angeal and Genesis. Yeah, I do too. I do too. I'm also reminded of when Tifa runs onto the gun, like onto the edge of the gun, running away from Scarlet. Doing that slap fight with her. Oh, I can't wait for that scene too, but yeah. Yeah, the scale on these games, I totally agree with them. The scale on these games are fucking amazing. Like, it's so impressive.
massive the world felt in comparison to your characters. And that's was a great element of OG FF7 was the scale of the game felt so big compared to how small you were in it. I can only imagine. I don't know how this is going to do. I don't know if it's going to be zone-based, where you literally go into loading zones or stuff like that. Are you going to like walk up here with no loading in between all of this? It's hard to say, but this could be...
I would say yes. I don't think there's going to be any loading zones. The only loading that would happen is when you're trying to, squeeze in between, two walls or something like that. But besides that, especially with now that we're utilizing just the PS5, yeah, I don't think there's going to be any loading zones. I mean, it's not Final Fantasy 12. I mean, 12 was just on the PS2. I mean, loading zones in that are totally understandable, of course. But yeah, since we're in the PS5 era now, I don't think so. I think we're just going to be able to go in there. I mean, there weren't any loading zones in 7 Remake on the PS5 version. The PS4 version, yes, there were loading zones, but the PS5 there weren't. It should be able to handle quick loads between areas. Yeah, exactly. It would just be like loading zones like in God of War or... like I said, the PS5 version of 7 Remake. Just stuff like that. Yeah, some of the textures in Remake were still kind of rough on PS5. Yeah, I noticed that too, actually. Especially the, like, for example, one of the worst ones was, the background texture, when you were climbing the pillar. The door. There were some other things that I have to play again to tell you, but I can't think of it right now. But yeah, stuff like that. It looked a lot better on the PS4 than it did PS5, to be honest. You're confident that the developers are aware of the texture critiques? Oh yeah, I'm sure they're aware, for sure. That kind of thing will definitely be fixed in Rebirth. I'm very confident. I mean, I'd be very surprised if it wasn't. Basically, just the stuff that was in the, I guess Max called it the skybox. I didn't even realize that, Ichiban. Yeah, pretty much the stuff that was in the skybox, they didn't really upgrade for some reason. It was kind of weird. It still looked really good. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, especially when you're climbing the pillar, you could definitely notice it. Max is like, if this dude pauses the dude one more time. Well, I'm sure he understands. I mean, he's a streamer, I'm a streamer, he gets it, right? I should make a YouTube video of like this conversation and just have a freeze frame of like some kind of silly face or something. What face should I make? Like that face?
And fire up the trailer again and really pick it apart because I'm not constrained by time this time. A lot of people think that there's still one timeline. I don't know how. There seems to be almost every single hint otherwise, but, you know, 2 timelines is 2 timelines, in my opinion, because we literally see at the beginning of this trailer, everybody's dead.
Here at the scene of this terrible disaster, caused by a massive tornado which swept through sectors 0, 1, and 2.
Everybody's dead.
Amidst
And there's
the wreckage of
Tifa's dead. Damn, Tifa's dead. Damn, Barrett is dead. I don't think they're making it, bro,
Search and
boys.
rescue operation.
The poor dog is dead. Jesus.
We don't see Cloud. I
Everyone
noticed.
is in really bad states, right? If they're not dead, they're not going on some grand adventure anytime soon.
Are already in progress.
Also, wait. Aerith seemingly not doing great either. When Zack showed up, and he was like, you know, Aerith at the end of...
Come to think of it, Cloud's probably with Zack.
Integrate, when
Like
he
Zack's
goes to
carrying
church
him
to
through
wonder if
Midgar or
everything's
something.
okay. Yeah, that's what happened to her. She was a part of some crazy thing that happened. Some tornado thing. And funny enough, wait for it. Wait for it. Wait for it. Jesus, is it really 1 frame? It might be 1 frame, bro. This is how much they're teasing. That, dude. There it is. So there's the tornado. For 3 frames? 2 frames.
I didn't even notice. Well, I mean, it's not noticeable, but... Huh. The tornado at the end of Remake when they were about to fight Destiny, pretty much. The Whispers. Huh. So this tornado is... When Cloud and the others fight the Whispers, that's when this tornado happened? Is that right? It's been a couple years since I last played Remake, but I do remember tornadoes happening when they were on their way to fight the Whispers. Yeah, okay. And so when that was happening, I guess it screwed up Zack's timeline somehow? Is during when we were in the Singularity. Yeah, that's right. That's right. The Singularity. So, before we went into the Singularity, it was still Cloud and the others' timeline, but once we went into the Singularity, was that like a different timeline?
For 2 frames at the beginning of this, it's showing us the events of the other timeline. The events that happened in quote-unquote the Singularity at the end of Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Yeah, let's hear Max here.
There's a couple of crazy tornadoes, one kind of representing one timeline and one representing the other, where everything's getting fucked up. Where everything that's happening when all the crazy ghost whispers, before they die, before they're destroyed, the planet's trying to fix stuff. Right after this, what do they show? Oh, well, what happened in that timeline now is that Zack lives in some crazy existence where he doesn't get killed by all the Shinra soldiers and actually takes them out. However, the world he lives in is not the same as OG FF7.
Oh shit, man. With the way that they're taking this game, it is so exciting, man. I can't fucking wait. It is very, very interesting. I'm very, very curious to see what events unfold in Zack's timeline.
He lives in, the majority of the party has been either killed or greatly debilitated. They ain't going on a hunt for Sephiroth anytime soon.
Search and rescue operations are
Zack's waifu is also not doing great. But we have no idea where the hell Cloud is. Ah, good question, you say. Where the hell's Cloud? Is he the famous barista that we've all been hearing about? Said this time and time again, that in Zack's timeline, Cloud doesn't end up being the soldier that he might end up being normally. Cloud could just end up being a barista in Midgar. He can just end up being some Joe Schmo. Who knows where the hell Cloud ends up being? Like, who? I have no idea. All we kind of got the hint at is that in Zack's timeline, he's probably going to go on a similar adventure that the party is, which is to go after Sephiroth. That is likely going to be his goal. He's going to take the place of Cloud in that story. We were like, oh man, so is he going to join the party and now they're going to go on a crazy adventure to the Northern Crater? It's like, well, probably not. It's probably going to be different. Like Zack's going to have a different set of people that he's going to be running around with, maybe. This is the, wait for it, this is the unknown journey. This is exactly, look how this trailer is composed. This is the unknown journey. This is the timeline that we do not know how the events are going to conclude. We don't know where this stuff is going to go. We have a pretty good idea where the first timeline is. First timeline is following FF7. First timeline is all FF7. And then where do we see the other timeline? Right here.
He's saying pretty much what we're saying, pretty much. I mean, remember Cloud and the Clone Cloak? Yeah, I remember Cloud and the Clone Cloak. Say that 5 times fast. Cloud and the Clone Cloak. Yeah, I wonder what that's about, actually. I'm sure Max will try to explain, but just Aerith can speak to those that had become the live stream. Right, yeah. Yeah, exactly, followed. Zach's timeline. Wait, you're saying that Cloud, he's heading towards Sephiroth. Oh, because I see, because he's all he's all fucked up from being in the live stream. What was it? Mako poisoning? Like, I guess you could say Sephiroth has easier control over Cloud, if that makes sense. In a way. Like, Cloud doesn't have, like, any resistance power, you know? From what Sephiroth is trying to do, with him. Yeah. I mean, in this timeline, he does. I mean, he's all, you know, level-headed, except for, you know, his PTSD and whatever, but yeah, when he has that Mako poisoning, yeah, he can't do anything. He can't resist or anything. Wow. Yeah, you're right, Ichiban. I didn't think about that. Oh, shit. Wait, and no Tifa would remind him of who he was? Yeah, exactly. Oh, man. I wonder how he and Zack get separated. Because Zack always... we see that Zack is carrying Cloud to Midgar. And it looks like they make it to Midgar, but I wonder how they get separated. I'm sure it wouldn't be hard to do for Sephiroth, but... oh, man. Oh, this is... Oh... This is awesome. I mean the events, you know, that are playing out, you know, aren't awesome for the characters, but this is awesome. Remember the clone that was Cloud's neighbor in Remake? Right, we saw him instead, in Cloud's timeline. Right, going to the Northern Crater. That was in Chapter 3. I remember that vividly for some reason. But yeah, I remember. Zack is probably going to stay in the same apartment. Oh, actually, yeah, that's a good point, Ichiban. You're right. Like, Zack is going to be in Cloud's room, but Cloud is going to be in that clone's room instead. And yeah, we're thinking the same thing.
Oh, there's an insane tidbit here. So, we're seemingly controlling Red 13.
Right.
As Red 13 is flipping, dipping, and zipping. However, we essentially get confirmation of our quote-unquote theorized PHS system right here. You might not have noticed if this stuff is really small, because in the party,
you'll see. Okay.
Is Red 13, Cloud, and Barret.
Right.
Obviously, Aerith is back here. And if you look way back here, there's Tifa. They're essentially cheering you on from the background, but not engaging. This is a confirmation that Final Fantasy VII Remake is going to be active teams in a similar way that Final Fantasy X is, where you are always given your full party. We presume this a long time ago, right? We presume that, yeah, of course, in the open world, you can get PHS and have access to your other team members to just hot swap them out, right? I hated the fact that there's a big aerial enemy, and oh god, how do we get rid of that aerial enemy? Well, I need a magic user or I need Barret. So this sucks. I have to go switch out my party. I can't do anything about that. We don't see them actively switch in. But
Oh
this is here for a
shit!
reason. And if you look at them, they're not fighting. They're like waiting to be brought in. They're like specifically like cheering you on and waiting to be brought in the background. So who knows, right? It's definitely my prediction. And how would you expand the combat of FF7? I think you would allow them to hot swap in just like Final Fantasy X.
Wow! Oh, that's awesome!
So, now
Oh!
it's like, okay, so this is a different scenario.
This
in
is-
the very next frame, seemingly in the same fight, you always have Cloud in your party, right? Like you always have Cloud in your party in the OG FF7. You can just swap in other team members, right? I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case, because they show the example of seemingly the same area, seemingly a similar battle, and then it cuts to later, and now it's Cloud, Aerith, and Tifa. So at some point, they swapped in. And now they're doing
UV and Red 13.
dual text and shit. Can we even, amongst this absolute pixelated mess, can we get a glimpse of like Yuffie or Barrett or Red 13 in the background here? Can we even get that? I don't know if we're going to be able to do it. Amongst this insane pixelated garbage, we found it. So, way back there, when the party member isn't actively being utilized, they are out of commission. Like there's some where's Waldo is my other party member, because you don't need to worry about them.
She's right here.